go outside, all I see is sync people around me. I go outside, and it's just a bunch of sync people and sync children and sync teenagers running around. People syncing with their children and sync people driving around. And sync people on bikes and sync people walking out of doors next to me. And sync people, sync things. And then when I come in my apartment, it's quiet. And when I was in my apartment all day, it's been quiet. And then when I go outside, it's a bunch of loud cars driving by me constantly. But then when I'm in my apartment, it's not a bunch of loud cars driving by constantly. It's occasionally loud cars driving by, and they'll be synced up like a robot when I hear one. But it'll be occasionally, though. It's not constantly loud cars driving by, but if I'm outside walking around, it's constantly loud cars driving by, and motorcycles and stuff. So I just think that's interesting how, like, when I go outside, it's, like, constantly, and then when I come in here, it's not constantly. And then when I came back in here, my neighbor's coughing synced a bunch of times. He's coughing through the wall synced. And everybody just syncs. This is what people do, is they sync around me, and then why? And they don't tell me, and I'm like, why, dude? And they're like, what? What's a sink? Like a kitchen sink? So it's just fucked up, dude. And there's just a bunch of people with their children sinking, and it's fucked up, and it's what the fuck. Every day is what the fuck. I'm just surrounded by sync. I don't know who's not synced out here. Everybody looks synced to me. Most people are synced, and every time I see them, they're synced. If I see the same person every day, they're going to be synced every day, every time I see them, over and over. If I'm in the room with them all day, they're going to be synced over and over all day. They're going to be synced, and then they're going to be synced. And then they're going to be like, I'm not synced, and then they're going to be synced. And right now, out my window, I see a bunch of them driving by and people walking around synced. And what the fuck? And I'm surrounded by the sync. And who's real out here? Anybody real out here? If anybody can hit the Cash App PayPal, hit the Cash App PayPal. If you can click the share button, click the share button. Everything's synced up and rigged up out here, and synced and is rigged and is fucked. My water heater is turning on synced. And everybody outside is synced, and the loud truck that drove by me a minute ago was synced, and everybody's synced. Except me, I'm not synced. But I see a bunch of cars right now that are synced, and they're all synced, and they're strategically synced, and then they're synced, and then they're synced again, and then they're synced. And it's non-stop syncs the entire time I've been looking out my window. This entire live stream, I've been looking out my window, they're synced. And sync, and then sync, and then sync, and then sync. A car just came and parked in the parking lot, and another car is leaving the parking lot at the same time. And then they sink, and then they sink. Then he got out of the car and he has a red shirt on. This is the sink culture. What's up with the sink culture, bro? Somebody tell me already. 3 years I've been trying to figure out what's up with the sink culture, and nobody can tell me what's up with it. And I'm like, bro, what is up with it? Bro, why do they keep sinking out my window right now? They're sinking with multiple people walking in cars, driving in the parking lot and on the street, and then he has a red shirt on with his arm out the window. He's driving by me synced. Bruh, why do they keep sinking? Somebody tell me why. And who's not synced out here? Like, it's weird, and it makes me want to stay inside, and I don't like that feeling. I like being outside, but it's like when I go outside, it's just a bunch of sink people around me, and people with their children sinking and shit. It's fucking weird, bro. People stalking with their children, and teenagers stalking me, and like, it's just like weird. I still go out there, but like right now I just want to be inside. But it's like I don't like that feeling though. Like they make me want to stay inside. And then occasionally there'll be like a guy that like comes up and just like follows me, like the guys that have just like there's been multiple dudes that just like come up to me and they're just like walking close to me and just following me, and they're like, "Hey man, what's up? Where you going? You want to hang out?" And they're a stalker and they're doing it synced up. And then they walk away from me when I walk up to an intersection. They're like, "Okay, see you later, bro." And they walk the opposite way. That happened multiple times. And the one dude was like trying to get me to buy him weed or something. And he's like a teenager or something, I guess. And he's like, "Hey man, do you know where the weed's at? Or like where I can get some buds? Or do you know where I can get some shots?" Or he's like, he's like, "Can you go buy me some shots?" Or whatever. And he like walked up to me multiple times, did that. And he just like follows me up the sidewalk. So if I go outside, I might have to deal with some shit like that, or children screaming synced, or babies crying synced, or people with a baby stroller synced. Whatever. Just a bunch of loud cars driving by me and shit. These motorcycles were driving by me today when I was walking up the street, and they were really loud, and they were like revving their engines synced a bunch of times as they drove up the street at different synced up moments. And then they rev their engine right as they drive by me on the street, and they're extremely loud. There's pieces of shit out here. I don't understand why the piece of shit game that they play, but they just it's a piece of shit Olympics. And they sink it. They're synced pieces of shit in a sinkhole. The swirling sinkhole, sink bowl. The sink Olympics. The sink bowl. The special stock card Olympics. They're just constantly going out my window the entire time I'm talking. A billion cars are sinking and people walking around. And why? Why? People walking with their children. Bruh. What the fuck? I just wake up every day and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. I'll never know. I'll never know how long I've been stalked either. I don't know. Has it been my whole life? I don't know. Do they stalk babies and children from birth? That's pretty fucked up. I don't know though. I don't know when it started. It was longer than 3 years since I figured it out. It's been longer than that. People are just playing a game and playing with me, and I didn't even know it. Like, bruh. What is this, a tan car? I think it's another tan car, the millionth one I've seen today, and he's parking synced. Every time I see a tan car, it's synced every day, constantly, all day, every day. I see a billion of them synced. Sometimes multiple tan cars all at once. Sometimes it'll just be 5 tan cars pulling up to the intersection all at the same time as I walk up to it, and it's like, that's magic. It's so magical every time I record it, 3,000 videos straight, right? Because then they just keep gaslighting and saying I'm a schizo, but I'm not though. And it's not. And we're not schizos. So I don't know. Just wanted to say it's synced up out here again. Like I just go outside and that's all I see is synced up things. So what else is there to talk about really? It's just synced up out here. So I don't know when the next cop's gonna drive by or whatever. An ambulance, siren, or train horn, or plane flying over my apartment. I don't have the stalker schedule. I don't know when the next thing's gonna be. But I see a bunch of synchronizers right now on my window. I'm not gonna show you and dox myself, but I see them though. I see the FedEx and he synced again. And they're always synced. Every FedEx I see every day is always synced. All day, every day, always synced. And then if like there's a video I just did recently where the Amazon car, she's like dropping off a bunch of packages on the streets that I was walking up, and she just like keeps doing it synced. She just drops off multiple packages synced as I walk up the street. And every Amazon car I see is synced. They just sync. This red car pulled up and parked synced with a red car driving behind it, and then he's getting out, or she's getting out. She's got a blue shirt and red pants on. Is that a blue-red thing? They like to sync blue and red things. And they'll have a blue shirt and a red car. It's just the sync culture, I don't know. It's just the MK Ultron sync culture that the Skynet robot is telling people to do or whatever. There's a bunch of cars driving around robotically in the parking lot. There's a white SUV driving in front of the car as she gets her children out of it, out of the red car. So I just came out here to report it's stalkered up again. I don't know. It's just, I don't got nobody to talk to, so I just talk to my phone again. It's stalkered up out here, guys. Anybody out there who hears me hears it. It's stalkered up as fuck out here, and hit the Cash App, PayPal if you can, and vote for LCAT 2028, and don't sync. There's children running up. I think they're synchronizing. Are they synchronizing? I don't know, they hopped in a car. I don't know if they synchronized. I think they did, probably. The car is taking off, and it looks synchronized as it's taking off. So yeah, I think they're synchronizing. They're sync children again. Sync children. Every time I see children, I sync children. I walked by the school today. I was recording on YouTube, but it cut the live stream. Skynet keeps cutting my live streams on YouTube. I blame Skynet. I think it's Skynet doing it. It's the Skynet director's cut. But I recorded like 40 minutes on YouTube, and then it cut to like a 15-minute video, so like the end of the video gets cut off. But on that part that got cut off, I walked by this school, and all these children were screaming synced as I walked by this school, and they're like hitting the fence synced and screaming synced. And then they're like, this kid kicks a soccer ball up to the, and I didn't record the children, but I just, you can hear them as I'm walking by though. But, and this kid kicks a soccer ball up at the fence next to me, like hits the fence next to me with a soccer ball. And then he like runs up and kicks the ball next to me twice. They're like outside playing at recess. I'm walking by. And it's always like that when kids are outside playing at recess. They're just screaming synced. Like I'll hear them like fucking 3 blocks up the street or whatever. And they'll just be screaming synced the whole way. And they'll run up to the fence next to me and stare at me and whatever. And this is what the fuck. And these little kids are just like bullying me and like stalking me all day. They're like, what the fuck? I just always hear children screaming synced. Like as I cross the intersection, I always hear children will be out in their yard playing or whatever, or wherever, and they'll be like, "Ah!" It's fucking weird and fucking psychotic as fuck. I went in the library yesterday and there's a bunch of people stalking through children. And there's babies crying synced. And what the fuck? Why are babies crying synced? What the fuck? But right now it's quiet. But if I go outside and walk up the street, there's gonna be a bunch of loud cars driving by me constantly. But right now it's quiet. And like, I got pretty good like insulation in here and shit, but like, still though, I don't hear traffic out there. Like I don't hear it. Like when I walk out there, there's a bunch of loud cars and motorcycles and shit. And fake ass emergency sirens that go off synced with what I'm doing. That's gotta be a fake emergency because it's synced as fuck. They just drive around with a siren for no reason, or maybe they go start a fire somewhere and go put it out or something, or what? Like, I don't know. It's synced up though. Like I came home yesterday and there's a fire truck driving by, like right as I'm walking up to my apartment building. They're driving by with their sirens. And they were syncing with their sirens a bunch of times before that and after that. And honking their horn sync. And it's like they drive around and like harass the entire town to harass me, I guess. And there'll be sirens like that at like 3 a.m. and it'll just be like driving out, waking up all the stalkers. Like, what the fuck? There's people getting out of their car with their children and she's got a red shirt and the child's got a red shirt. I don't know. But I see a bunch of whiteys driving by. Bunch of whitey white mobiles looking like a bunch of Klan members driving by, synced up, like robotic Klan members. then the guy like pointed up at my apartment. And they're always doing that. And then there's someone slamming a door over here. I think it's right next to me. It says they're going in the building with their children. Oh yeah, it was this car right next to me. It's taking off. They're slamming their doors synced, and then they're taking off, and then they're gonna sync. Look sync when they turn down the street. Look sync. So there's just a whole movie outside my apartment. I can just sit here with a bag of popcorn all day, but I don't really. I just do when I'm on live stream like this. I don't really just sit and look out my window ever, really. Like if I walk by the window, I'll see some shit. But I usually don't just be standing here watching them like this. But when I do, it's synced the entire time that I'm talking. It's synced the entire time. There's no breaks. It's synced the entire time that I'm talking. Like, there hasn't been a moment where there's nothing happening yet, I think. Like, it's just constant sync. But occasionally there'll be a pause, and it'll be like 10 seconds maybe, and then it's sync. And then if it's like late at night, then it'll be longer. But then it'll sync. And there's a sink, and my refrigerator sinks, and my toilet sinks, and my water heater sinks, and these birds flying over right now are synced, and everybody's synced. The cats sink, and the dogs sink, and the dogs bark synced, and the birds chirp synced. And the birds will chirp synced at like 3 a.m. out my apartment window. Like, I'll hear them through my apartment window. There's a guy on a bike, and he looks synced. And everybody syncs. And all these cars look synced, and everybody's syncing again, and it's synced. And then it's synced again, and then it's synced. It's like, I get it, you're synced. I get it, guys. There's a truck taking off next to me, and there's an ambulance driving through the intersection at the same time, and then the truck is taking off forward as the ambulance drives out of sight. And he has a 22 on his plate, and he's synced, and he's a blue truck, and now he's syncing with another blue truck as he drives to the edge of the parking lot. And there's another blue car, I think. Is it blue? Are those people walking out with a baby stroller? They're probably synced. He's turning out of the parking lot as a door slams in the hallway, and a red car was syncing with it, and then the red car syncs with a FedEx, and then there's syncs happening, a bunch of them, and there's people getting in a truck with a baby stroller, and it's synced, and it's all synced. And it's all synced. Lightning and thunder is synced, and the rain is synced. Yesterday, the lightning and thunder was synced, and the rain was synced again. And every time there's a thunderstorm, the lightning and thunder is synced. And the wind is always synced every day, constantly. The wind syncs. And it'll blow things around synced, and a bird just flew over my head synced, and it synced, and it synced. And there's a car driving by me, and it's probably synced. Is he synced? I'll find out when he gets to the edge of the parking lot. It looks synced as he does that. It looks very synced with other cars on the street. Sync. So that's the sync. They sync, and then they sync, and then they're like, I'm not synced, but they sync, and then they say it's synced, and then they walk away synced, and then every time I see them, they're synced, though. But they say they're not synced, though. But they are. Incredibly synced. Unbelievably synced. Like, you wouldn't believe it. If I didn't record it, you wouldn't believe it. That's how synced they are. It's stupidly, insanely synced. Dummy synced. But it's not synced, guys. Even though it is. There's a guy walking with his child with a red shirt. His child has a red shirt, and they walked in front of the intersection as somebody walked through it. As somebody walked through the intersection behind them. And they got a red shirt, and they're walking with their child. The mom has a red shirt. She's walking with her child. And there's other people walking out with their children, and they're gonna sync, and they're all synced. And everybody syncs with the children out here, and it's synced. Everybody syncs with their children out here, and it's always synced. Why does everyone sync with their children out here, and why is it always synced? I see a bunch of them right now. A bunch of people synced with their children. Synced. And then synced. And then synced. They're syncing multiple times with their children. It's fucked up. It's not funny. It's fucked up. It's fucked up out here. Dude, at work the other day, they had this customer come through. It's just constant customers that are synced up. That come in synced up, place their order synced up. But and it'll just be constant, like it'll just be one after the other after the other. But they had this one come in, and she was like yelling at me, and I think she was a stalker head. She had to be. And she was yelling at me, and like just me specifically, because I was the one taking her order, but like it wasn't my fault that we were backed up though. Like, she's like mad that we were backed up, and like it wasn't my fault, but like I don't know. It seemed like a targeted thing, which is constantly at all my jobs, just targeted things to try to stress me out at my jobs. Hit the Cash App, PayPal. I see red and blue cars right now. There was a guy walking by me with one hand in his pocket. It's synced up out here. There's people that walk with one. The guy gets out of his truck as the guy with the red shirt is walking behind his truck. He's staring down at his cell phone with his red shirt. And then they're just like following each other, like walking, like the red shirt guy is like walking behind the other guy. Like from my perspective, he's like following him the whole way. What was I saying? They distracted me. Synced this fuck out here, bro. It's almost synced fireworks season. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna have videos of that, I'm sure. There's a car driving by in the parking lot, synced up with people walking, cars driving, synced. So I forgot what I was going to say, but if you don't sync, don't sync. Don't start syncing. If someone comes up to you and is like, hey, you want to sync for a human trafficking cult around this guy, don't do it. It's lame and gay and human trafficking. It's literally gay because they'll sync with me taking a piss in the bathroom. That's gay as fuck. And they'll sync, they'll like walk behind me as I'm like bending over and shit, and it's gay as fuck. And I'm like, bro, gay. So don't sync. And there's no offense to the gays either, but it's like rapey gay, and I'm not gay, so it's like gay. You know what I'm saying? It's like rapey gay. To like walk behind me as I'm bending over at work. To stalk me. To do it deliberately to stalk me. Seeing a bunch of stalker patterns out here. Red car met a red car, and now there's other red cars meeting other red cars right now, and then it sinks, and then there's a white SUV, and what's he gonna do? He's meeting a white truck as people walk in front of the intersection at the same time. They met each other at the intersection at the same time. This is what people do out here. I don't know. Why do people do this, man? Why do people do this, man? What is it? Oh man, I'm just completely surrounded by the sink. Everyone in my family is a sink, I think. Everyone around me is a sink. I don't know if it's everyone in my family, but a lot of them sink. It's just everyone sinks. I don't know. Everyone sinks, and then they play with my life, and play with my money, and play with my time, and play with my energy, and play with my, distract me. I don't even have to make this video right now. In a way, I'm kind of distracting myself, but at the same time, it's fucked up. Just want to come on and tell the world it's synced as fuck out here. It's fucked up as fuck. And fuck you if you sync. Fuck you if you deliberately sync and you signed up willingly to do it. Cause what the fuck? And then some people will be like, this one guy drove up one day and he's like, I'm syncing on you. I'm definitely syncing on you. That's what he said. Some of them would be like that. And just be straight up. They'll be like, yeah, I'm a stalker. But then they still can't tell you why or whatever. They just like laugh. And they're like, huh. He's never gonna figure it out. Says Twitter Live Walk Up Sync Podcast. Don't sing.